Anyway, it's time now for Mike's first guest. Now, his first album had a record-breaking run at the top of the classical music charts, and he's one of the country's finest tenors. They call the man The Voice. He's even sung for the Pope, and he's Manchester United's lucky charm. He's had 2 major health scares, but he's back better than ever. And his amazing story is told in his new book, Finding My Voice. Will you please welcome Mr. Russell Watson? Let me hear you. Come on. Can you believe this? Come here. How are you?
I'm all right,
Get yourself on that couch. Come on, let's see you.
Bless you. Thank you.
Russell, it's good to see you. Long time no see.
It's good to be back.
You must be sick of people saying, how are you? But how are you?
It's always nice, you know, to get people asking, because I've had so much amazing public support.
Yeah.
It's just been... It's been fabulous.
You've been a bit of worry, my lad, you know, when the first time we were worried, and then the second time, you know, I just thought, man, did you ever think, oh, I might have to retire here?
I thought, the second time round, I actually thought I was going to be retiring permanently.
Oh, Ross.
I mean, I was scared to death, and when they rushed me in to hospital, you know, I was kind of flitting in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I just remember hearing all these words around me, hemorrhage and surgery and get him down there quick, and remember thinking, that's it. You know, if I was a cat, I'd have used up my 9 lives. It's all over.
How did it start? How did it first start?
It started with really, really bad headaches. And then the headaches were bad, and then they got worse. And then my vision started to deteriorate. I noticed that particularly my peripheral vision was pretty much gone. The left side had gone. And then eventually, I remember getting on an aeroplane to LA to record my 6th record, and we were going to go to Capitol. And when I got to the other side, I don't know whether it was the pressure of the aeroplane, but it was like kind of looking through a little 10-pence piece. It was...
How terrifying is that?
Yeah.
You know, to be you've been on a plane and you're in that condition, then you're in a strange country. I mean, you know, you must have been...
I went to see a specialist, and straight away they said, you've got a tumour. Oh, and that's the last thing you want to hear. But then after that, followed by that was, and it's a big one. So,
oh, great. You know what I mean? Like, can you soften the blow a bit and say, oh, you'll be fine, don't worry. I mean, did the kids help you recover? Because you got your kids now, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, Rebecca, who's 13 now...
She's not 30. We have a history, you see, I'll tell you later. She's never... Please tell me she's not 13.
13, can you believe it?
God, Russell, I can't get...
She's 13. I mean, like, I was clowning around the other day, and she's getting a bit cheeky now. It literally was like a switch clicked at 13. It's like, just clicked on. And I was messing about in front of the mirror, pulling silly faces. She walked out of the computer room, looked at me and just went, weirdo. Normally she'd be laughing away. Oh, Daddy's so funny. Now it's weirdo or free.
Joe, I don't know how long it was ago, Ross. Many, many years ago, we worked together on the North Pier in Blackpool.
Do you remember what you used to call it?
What?
Nissen Hut on stilts in the middle of the Irish Sea.
I mean, it was! The North Pier was put up as a temporary building in the 30s or something. And here we are, 1980 or whatever, the 90s.
Do you remember that train that we used to get down when it rained? We used to have, from one end of the pier to the other, we used to have to get this train, this little kind of, like, toy train. And if it was raining, we'd all sit inside this little train, travelling up to the theatre.
I'd be sat there with the dog under my arm, hunched, like a gargoyle, and these lashing winds and rain, and the waves used to come over the pier. But you know, when I first knew you'd made it, I was doing the travel show, and I got out of a taxi in LA, and I was having a bad day, a really bad day. And I got out, and I saw this pair of feet on this poster. And this poster was massive, and I looked up, it was you. It was like 200,000 foot, and I thought, what? Because I hadn't seen you since the North Pier.
Since there was Russ Watson.
This is it, since you were Russ Watson. Did you ever dream then, when we were doing the pier, that you'd just go ballistic and be world famous and perform with the Pope and all these people?
At the time I was working for you in particular, I think that was a point where I'd got a real taste of of kind of the fame bug, and it was great at getting the opportunity to work with you, of course, and then in front of so many people every night of the week.
We did good business, didn't we, on that show?
We did great business.
We did.
It was like 1,000+ people every night for like 6-7 nights of the week. It was hard
about
work.
9 years. It felt like 9 years, didn't it?
I really enjoyed it.
I did.
It was when I finished, it was a really big come down for me, because when I finished, I was straight back into the clubs again. So from doing 1,000 seats every night with you, all of a sudden I was, back in the Liberal Club. What do you run at 9 o'clock, cock? And then
pie and peas in 5 minutes.
We've got bingo at 3, and you have to make sure you finish by then.
I used to bring the butties in, remember? Probably said, do you want corned beef, Stella, or do you want ham? And you'd be on there. I used to lose the plot and go down and take it off them. So it's the last supper you're ever having in here.
A couple of ladies one night doing knitting near the back.
And they're chatting. They'd be emoting. They'd be like, oh, not as good as Ken Dodds. Are you pleased with your autobiography? It's all here, isn't it?
I am.
Yeah.
And I made it as well during my radiotherapy, so I had to have 25 sessions of radiotherapy.
God, you've had a rotten time, haven't you?
Yeah, but I remember my surgeon at one particular point saying to me, he came into the room and he looked at me and he said, we need to operate. And I said, look, I've really got a bad fear about this. I feel that if you operate, I'm going to die. I'm not going to make it. Because I feel like, I've had the first operation, the second one. I don't want to take my chances here. I was really nervous about it. And he looked at me and he said, when I come in here and tell you there's nothing we can do, we can't operate.
That's when you worry.
That's when you worry,
yeah.
he said. I think I can get rid of this for you. And straight away I thought, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
And you know what, Paul, I see every day now as a gift. I try to spend as much time, with my kids and my friends, my family. The people that are important in my life mean so much more to me now. Not that they didn't before, but now they mean so much more.
Joe, it's true that, because when I had the second heart attack, I thought that lasted a week. I thought, I'm going to live life to the full, I'm going to be lovely to everybody. A week later, it was business as usual.
I love it.
I mean, you had in here, I love this about Pavarotti, you had an interesting time rehearsing with Pavarotti, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, it was me and Charlotte Church, and we'd been waiting all day for this rehearsal. We were at Hyde Park, there were 70,000 people waiting to see us, and I think around about 4, just as we got to the point we're thinking we're not going to be doing this rehearsal, there was a little tap on the door, and there was this little Italian chap stood there, and he says, Mr. Pavarotti is not ready to see you. So Charlotte and I both walked to this kind of waiting area, sat in there. It was almost like we were waiting to see Father Christmas, like two naughty children, or the headmaster. So we sit down in this chair, and the guy goes in, and it must have been about 10 minutes later, this chap comes back out and he says, Mr. Pavarotti, ready to see you now for the rehearsal? So we go into the room, and Pavarotti's sat there, he's swathed in these bath towels, white, radiant white bath towels. His beard looks blacker than it ever looked. In fact, he looked fantastic. He really was a total and utter superstar. Yeah. And you got that feel from him, like you were in the room with somebody extra special. And he was sat in the middle like this. He says, he looks at me and he says, you sit here. And then he looks at Charlotte and he says, little lady, pretty lady, come over here. And you sit here. So we're thinking, okay. So we sit down out the side. He says, when I point to you, you sing. OK? He points to Charlotte. When I point to you, you sing. End of rehearsal.
That was it?
Yes.
My kind of rehearsal, that.